Hi, it's Joy, and today we're going to be watching Naomi, Season 1, Episode 8, Fellowship of the Disc. I am so excited to be back with Naomi. I am so sorry this reaction is up so late, but I am doing better than I was, so that is good. Hopefully my head does not go weird and leave me extra weird for this reaction. I've missed this show. I have loved it so much. It was actually quite kind of it to go off on another little break because it meant that my unexpected break from reacting only left me 2 episodes behind and not several. So yes, very excited to jump back in. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go. Oh, Naomi? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
No, you're not. Don't lie. Or at least if you don't feel like you can tell her, tell Dee, or even... My goodness, his name has escaped me. This is my brain, my memory. Do not get chronic fatigue syndrome or myalgic encephalomyelitis. Can't even remember its own freaking name. Because your memory will go poof. Zimbardo. I knew his name. I kept thinking embargo and I knew that was not his name.
Sauce, quiche.
This girl is too
lattes.
much.
Thinking of canceling.
What?
We are being investigated by the government and you are an undercover alien.
Not a...
Yeah, lying to
Is this
you.
because of me? I'll see you after school.
She loves them so much. She's definitely an alien if she had time to for school to wake up and cook all that. What is this?
Thing for us to do.
She loves Puerto Suego. Are we really gonna open her?
Is she old enough to maybe get a little bit in on the conversation?
Moving may not be the worst idea.
Okay,
Look.
I know I'm having a nightmare. You wanna leave Puerto Suego?
It wouldn't be the worst idea for safety.
Oh, I love it here.
Exactly. It's not that she
like-
wants to go.
I've seen your powers. You can take down a space warlord.
Not necessarily if he has the same powers or similar.
And if I'm a target,
Can't move.
It's not
I'm
that
not sure I have a
simple.
choice.
I don't think she will, and it doesn't mean she wants to. But it's potentially for the best.
A strike is the most useful move.
I've missed these two.
They won't help you against Brutus, Naomi.
But it's what she's learning.
Teacher.
She's learning self-control and
But
she's
the only way that
getting
you'll be
stamina
controlling
and...
your powers.
The attention of her enemies.
We're beyond that now. Enemies are likely already on their way, and they won't be stopped.
Can we work together with Naomi, please?
Using my powers will just put us all in danger.
We're in danger either way, Naomi.
You are a terrible mentor. I mean, obviously, I like that he's not lying to her anymore.
You know that.
But the thing is, the training Dee is doing, I think potentially she should do both trainings. Again, she's a teenage girl. Does she have time in her day? I do not know. This girl seems to have endless time in her day. But, like, Zimbardo isn't wrong in that she does need to learn about her powers and learn how to control them and get better at using them. And if we've already alerted the bad guys about where she is, then they're already coming. It's not like, you know, we can hide that anymore. So she does need to learn her powers. But what Dee is teaching her is important for a number of reasons. It helps you with anxiety. It can help you with, you know, self-confidence of knowing that you're capable of being able to fight if your powers were to go away, etc. It gives her stamina. It's teaching her breathing techniques. It's teaching her things that will back up her powers. I think if Zimbardo had pitched it as, well, then why don't you do like an hour with Dee and then an hour with me or something, you know, like there are 2 sides of her training, but this is still important skill that she needs to know, and you can't just rubbish it because you are jealous that you couldn't teach her that.
So hard to stay mad at them.
What is this sense she's getting? Is someone in the house?
I hear something.
Was that a heartbeat?
Maybe it's just the wind.
Army?
Stay here. Maybe they weren't here for that.
The disc? Did she still have it? The episode's called The Fellowship of the Disc.
Someone stole the disc.
Who?
Project ruin Annabelle's life by moving Naomi out of Puerto Suego.
Annabelle. Think about what's best for Naomi as well.
I'm actually working on a prototype myself.
Oh Lord,
It uses
child.
principles of...
Both sides of her training are important. Did he break into her house to prove a point?
What are we doing here?
Training.
She has to consent to training.
This session is just us, Naomi.
I
Both?
know you're just trying to help me, It's helping.
I know.
I think my main issue with Zimbardo is how he approaches things, though. I know that could be a good
But
sign.
the skills that he's teaching you aren't the only ones that you need.
Okay, yeah, this is the approach you should have taken from the beginning.
Flying is about letting go of all the things that hold you back.
I mean, she does deserve to know about her powers too.
Strength.
I'm glad in this moment he didn't try to say Dee's training was useless. Both of them are necessary.
If you could just sign here, we'll get out of your way.
No, you're working.
Seriously?
Well, we kind of.
Everything.
Good. Make them work for it.
The whole sword?
You don't get to just swan in here and act like you don't have to work.
Alone? I just need to check something out. I'll be careful.
Naomi! There are so many people in your life that want to help you. Stop doing things alone. What if that post was put up to intentionally entice people? Are you trying to give me anxiety, my child? Because I already have it.
Hello?
Oh, Lord.
If there are aliens
These
coming to
frickin' children!
explore a secret alien lab.
Illegally, both of you.
Wait, the building's empty. Like everyone left in a hurry.
That is weird.
But there's.
Come on.
What are the chances of that falling now and not before? Hi, Jacob, I'm an alien.
Is awesome.
That is not the appropriate. I mean, that is the appropriate response to finding out your amazing friend Naomi is even more amazing than you previously thought. Not the appropriate response to almost being killed.
Keep your voice down.
This is by far the greatest thing that has ever happened to me.
But it's not happened to you, has it, sweetheart?
I can't believe.
I found out after the Superman thing. He's real, by the way.
This is cute.
She didn't tell me?
I'm mad at her. I made her promise not to tell
It's
her.
Naomi's secret. If she told you she's a bad
Can't tell her that
person,
you know.
tell her. This is her life. Do you have any right to go through that, entitled children?
Why would you do that?
Why do you think?
I'm sorry, Lourdes. I didn't know.
No, there's got to be another way. We can.
Why do you
we
think,
can help
okay,
around here.
this child, your age, has dropped out of school to take care of her family? Do you really think that that is what anybody in a financially stable, everything is shiny in our home state, though I guess for both of these boys, they've never had to look at
Yeah, we
things.
can figure.
Enjoy the water.
Let them
Dr. Bell
help.
specialized in dynamic.
I know what it can seem like, these kind of entitled children who never have to worry about anything coming in there, something like, oh, we'll make a plan, we'll make it all better, but more minds on it, people who aren't emotionally dragged down by everything you've been through could help.
Multiple readings. There's you, and
Ooh,
then there are 3 others.
we know 2
Are
of...
there other aliens in.
How big was that thing able to tap into satellites or something?
She needs to be pushed.
There's a fine line between pushing her and overwhelming her.
Uh-huh.
I respect you trying to protect her. But going easy on her now only puts her in danger later.
I can see both sides, but I'm with D.
Unleashing her abilities is the only chance that we have against Bruce.
Can we find a
It's the
compromise?
best way for Naomi to protect the people she loves.
But are you interested in that, or are you interested in winning?
Understand that.
Is he going off past experiences, or just what is the connection between these two?
If we push her too hard, too fast, she could lose control.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? What if she loses someone she loves?
What's happening is bigger than that.
I think, in a way, D is approaching this whole situation with Naomi's best interests, first and foremost, being how he's basing all of these decisions, using his own experiences and his own opinions and things, of course, but Naomi's welfare. Whereas Zimbardo, I don't think he's an evil person anymore. I think that they have shown us that he's not a bad guy by any means, but he is far more interested in the wider picture. And as much as he may care about Naomi and not want to hurt her, if she needs to get hurt in order to save the day in a bigger way, he seems like the kind of guy who is more willing to accept casualties and sacrifices along the way. That doesn't mean he's evil, that doesn't mean he's trying to just use Naomi to discard her or anything like that. I do still want more, because I feel like with Zimbardo, with how they want the audience to see him, we've kind of been flopping a bit all over the place, which is understandable as we get to know him more, but I don't agree with that kind of approach. I can get the merits of it if you think, well, Naomi potentially losing herself to her powers and hurting people she loves, if it saves a billion lives, is that justified? But it's still hurting a child at the end of the day, so like, who knows? Both sides are understandable, but I'm with
It's
Dee.
worth the risk.
Maybe to you,
Mm-hmm.
but not to me. And definitely not to Naomi.
And I genuinely think, like, this is where I would be anyway, but Dee being one of my favourite characters is a part of this. I just want to know more about the man, okay? But I think I stand with that, and it may be naive, but that's how you fight for a better for a better way in a better world. You don't sacrifice your principles. But I do feel like the best course here may be a compromise that Naomi is involved in.
I had a bear like that when I was little. And a lamp like this.
Did her parents take the disc?
Labeled Naomi's baby stuff.
What on
Your parents have
earth?
a go bag.
Because their daughter's an alien? I mean, to me, that doesn't sound like the craziest thing in the world when you know that you have a child that is an alien that may be hunted if they find out who she is.
This is like something out of a movie.
You're an alien, my darling,
What is
living
going
undercover. If your life is out of a movie.
Pumpkin. We had to assume this day might come.
All this time, you've been living in fear because of me.
My darling, they love
We
you
love you.
first and foremost. Every moment
We will
of
always
joy
do
you
everything we
gave
can
to them
protect you.
is worth any fear they've felt.
But
And every parent has a degree of fear. Every parent has a degree of, you know, if your kid walks out that door, what if they get hit by a bus? You know, you can never know for certain. But the love is what's worth it.
T-shirts made and everything's pretty good, right?
I hate Lord of the Rings.
Why do people keep saying that? Are you trying to...
I didn't recognize him in that. Get up. I've been trying to work out who it was. I think this is a really sweet gesture. And there are ways that comic book shops can survive, but in the world we live in, independent stores like this are going to struggle because so much more is moving online.
Feelings?
It doesn't matter. You should have asked me first.
They should have. It's a sweet gesture. Maybe we could look into marketing and things, but
nice. We
Didn't ask you to do that.
I know, but it's okay to accept
I don't
help.
need your pity.
It's not
I just
pity.
wanted to help.
You being at a storage unit with my boyfriend.
Jacob told you?
He has a terrible poker face. Yelled out longer than I thought.
He's trying to keep you safe.
By lying
She
to me?
wants to be
Things
part
have
of
changed.
things.
Everything
I'm your best friend.
That's the point. My birth parents died because of me. Zumbato's life was ruined. My parents, they've been living in fear. All this bad stuff has happened because of me.
No, my sweet girl.
And now people are coming after
No.
me.
That's why you need help.
Zimbardo's life was not ruined because of you.
Moving
That was
around
because
all
of
the
other
time,
circumstances,
I
and
hadn't
it's
had a
not
friend.
because of you. It's because of other forces in the world, my darling.
You should have given me the chance to get off instead of making that call for me.
I know. We are getting through this, my children. Naomi is trying to make the right call. They all are. Dee and Zimbardo
What are we
included.
doing here?
just hand to hand, you and me.
Why? To make you feel like a big man?
This is not productive.
I agree.
It's your style.
I would imagine Dee should win this. Like, unless Zimbardo is like his species. I don't actually know what are they just human? Unless his powers make him stronger. Dee is from a race of warriors. Dee trains religiously. Zimbardo has powers. You can go soft and complacent with your powers. I don't... Unless Dee underestimates him and he gets to do some sort of clever craftiness, Dee should win this fight. But I also don't want them to fight. Like, this is not productive. No powers, I see. Is he trying to say, look, see, you can win a normal fight, but with powers I win? Because what is the point of that? Zimbardo, what is the point of this? Dee is not trying to argue that without powers, Naomi could casually go in and box Brutus, okay? But he's trying to argue that there are more important fucking things than learning powers in a dangerous manner.
There is no honor with Naomi's enemies.
And he knows
There's
that.
no code.
But that doesn't mean we have to operate without honour and
Why are you
codes.
training her like you don't?
Because he's looking out for her best interests and not what he thinks would be the easy way. Zumbardo has yet to convince me.
So he tries to sneak away, except Sam won't let him. Sam says that there's
He's
no
talked to
way just
Annabelle.
letting Frodo go alone.
You have friends, and it's vulnerable letting friends in. And she has done this for so long alone, and no child should be in that position.
It can't just be your way,
No.
and it can't just be mine.
Thank you.
Powerful as Naomi is,
D, this is why I love D.
just a teenager.
He's the one that's figuring out we gotta compromise.
Takes the best parts of both of us.
Okay, this, thank you.
Finally,
Men, I could have told them this at the start of the
something we
episode.
agree on.
But I'm glad it was D that came up with it, because I love D.
We have more ideas, by the way.
Oh,
Better
God.
than Stump the King.
Good. I'm not sure I can do this without you.
She's just
You
scared.
don't have to.
Oh, Lord. I mean, the military took forever to find this, so joke's on
How much did
them.
we take, sir? Able to pinpoint the extraterrestrial activity.
Okay.
Jacob, what are you saying?
The
There are
alien
2
we're looking
dots.
for is here. At the party.
A D and Zumbardo, either of them here. This was another excellent episode. I am so glad that at the end of all of that male, testosterone filled, that Z figured out that's their name of their partnership of mentoring. And that Zumbardo and D figured out that Naomi could benefit from both. And that in the normal way of things, if there were not enemies breathing down her neck, if she was just somebody learning about powers and having a safe environment to do it, D's way is the right way, because it is the right way to treat somebody. My big worry with Zumbardo has been that he wanted to use Naomi. It was particularly, I think, one of his comments to the other alien woman when he was like, oh, we found her, there's no place safe for her. That they made you feel like his goal was just to use her. Now, part of me is still concerned that it's still something he'll be willing to do, but I think we've seen for sure that he does care about her and want her to be safe. Just maybe he views her not being, her kind of being, I mean, he views that she's in danger, whether he has anything to do with it or not. I still worry that maybe he'd be more willing to use her if push came to shove than maybe someone else would, but really, so far all he's really done is talk, and we need to see him in these situations, and the only situations he's been in thus far have helped Naomi, which I like. Though, I swear, if you showed someone the pilot, and then you showed someone this episode, and what, this was episode 9? Episode 8. Zumbardo's character has done a lot of changing and growing. Now, that isn't about me complaining about the writing or anything. Like, I think it's made sense throughout the show. But it's just so interesting to me how quickly they've moved him from someone that we were convinced was a villain to someone that is maybe on the morally grey spectrum, but ultimately a good guy. It's really interesting. But I'm glad. I didn't appreciate him randomly being like, okay, D, I've invited you here, we're going to have a fight now. Okay, now I'm not going to follow the rules. Because D's not stupid. He's been in intergalactic wars. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what you're talking about. But he also knows what it's like, I suppose, to be trained at a very young age to be a warrior. I don't know too much about him. I want to know more. He knows what that is like, and he knows how unhealthy it is, and he's trying to stop that from Naomi. But the point that Zumbardo's are making, I also agreed with, of there isn't the time necessarily for that. Which is why that compromise approach, where we have her emotions being taken care of, her learning stamina, her learning control over herself and her emotions, is important, and getting more of the powers is important too, as long as, one can balance the other, they can go hand in hand and be what's best for Naomi. So I'm so glad they're finally working together. I think that will be the best way forward. I'm also glad Naomi has realised that forging on alone, while it might be the right thing to do in the sense of keeping everyone around her safe, the people around have a say too. The people around can say, no, we care about you, we want to be there with you. It doesn't have to just be Naomi, it can be a team, people that care about her and love her. And if she were to leave Annabelle and never speak to her again to keep her safe, and then Annabelle were to find out alien captured and experimented on by military, Annabelle would feel guilt forever, thinking, could I not have done something? So I'm glad that she had that little moment of realisation, partly because she didn't like fighting and partly because of what he said. Oh my god, I can't remember her name. I'm really so one of the symptoms of my chronic illness is memory problems, and my god, short-term memory of names and things. I used to be so good. Like, it was my thing. I would like watch one, I'd know everyone's name, I'd know all the actors' names, and I hate the fact that I don't. But it's not Jacob, is it? It might be Jacob. It's something like that. I love that he knows now. He found out, and was just immediately on the team, okay with keeping it a secret. I respect these kids, they look out for each other. I feel like for him, my one thing was when he was like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing that has ever happened to me. I get what his point was and I get why he said it, but it's not really happening to you. It's happening to Naomi and you're just there. So I think the more time goes on, the more real it seems. And actually, when he becomes more aware of the dangers surrounding it all, I think we're already seeing him taking it more seriously and treating it a little bit less like it's a load of fun. Though on the flip side of that, it's kind of nice for Naomi to remember the part of it that is super cool, that she has powers and that she's like a comic book hero. Speaking of comic book heroes, I think the boys went about things wrong, but their hearts were in the right place. You know, you can kind of understand the whole thing of, oh, we know the girl that runs the shop, so we're just going to come work here and get an easy job. But it's her life. This is her shop. They signed up for this program, not to get some kids off of having to do it. And, you know, when you know that she dropped out of school and she's working here, obviously they're not, I mean, they are her friends, but they're not super close friends. So maybe they don't know all the details. Maybe they don't know exactly why. But she's hardly living the dream. You know, in a family that is well off financially, would have hired people to look after the dad, hired people to run the store, and let her finish her education. They would not have pulled their child out of school. Maybe if they, you know, were that step down from that, if they were kind of financially comfortable but needed the job, she'd have worked after school and on the weekends or whatever. But instead, she dropped her life to do this. It's not something that you say, oh, just sign our things and we'll get out of here. But I think when they realised that it was a financial worry, I love that they immediately did put their little heads together and try and think of solutions. And yes, the Lord of the Rings. I'm surprised Jacob wasn't like, this is a comic book store. Are you sure we should be in here? But in general, I think it was a sweet move, and the fact that they want to help her and they were so adamant that they were her friends. But I can also understand why, to her, you're not my friends. You're just some people Naomi knows. Now, that is one of the many ways you can make friends. You have a friend, your friend has a friend, your friend brings you together, you become friends. Some of my friends have become that way. Like, my sort of group of school friends that I'm still friends with from my school days, they are mostly, I mean, it's not a huge group, it's like 4 or 5 of us. But the group we have are people I was individually friends with that will have their own friendship groups, and then now where they kind of hang out sometimes because of me. But what's been beautiful over the last 10 years is watching as they become friends all by themselves. So you kind of, that is a perfectly valid way to become friends, and they are just trying to be there for her. But I think there's that part of her that because she's had to fight for herself, fight for her family, without any support up till now, having anybody else suddenly come in and offer you, you know, this kid who a minute ago were being like, oh, just let us not bother doing any work, now kind of pitying you, can be a hard thing to do. But pity isn't always a bad thing. It's more sympathy. It's more feeling for someone, recognising they are in trouble and might need help, and knowing that we're in a position to offer that help. It is sweet, and I'm glad that she ultimately came around to that. I worry though, because in general, I mean, independent bookstores, comic book shops, not only is it easier to buy online, or, you know, to find the comics online, you can order them online, find them online. I do worry for businesses like that. I think you need a really strong, loyal customer base, but even then, I don't know what the future is for them. It's hard for her family to imagine them losing this shop that is so important to them, but it's also sad to think that she would sell things that were important to her as well. Now, the big dun-dun-dun twist. There is another alien at the party. Now, are they going to go downstairs and see Dee's arrived? Because I could see that. I could definitely see that Dee just came to the party. Again, I don't really think Hughes and Bardo were invited, because obviously it's not Naomi's party, and also they're older than Naomi. It's the parents' party, but it could be funny if it was one of them downstairs. So they've been all very dramatic with it all. Is there another secret alien in our midst that we don't know about? We will see. So yes, this was a brilliant episode. I've missed this show. I'm so glad it's back. I'm going to watch the next one right now. It will be up on Patreon. It will be up half an hour or so after this one. So if you've seen this reaction, it'll already be up. And on YouTube, it will be up as soon as I have edited it. I need to have time to edit both episodes, so I can't know right now for certain when it will be up. But fingers crossed, everything according to plan, episode 10 will be up the day it comes out, like normal. So yes, I absolutely love this show. Thank you so much for watching.